All right, so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to start to look at our floor plans and how to actually get our technical floor plans and our schematic floor plans at the same time. So I'm calling this a schematic set. It's really not a schematic set. A schematic set would have just the schematic floor plans and maybe some other views that are relevant. Also, in terms of context, I want you guys to be aware that no two schematic sets have exactly the same things. It depends on what you use it for. So you might create like a 50% schematic set or even just like a first schematic set, which only has your floor plans and doesn't have anything else, maybe a site plan. But then there are in some cases like LAUSD, for instance, they do design competitions where your schematic set is basically the completed design building. And all it has is a floor plan that has all the dimensions and callouts and everything, all full code analysis, full wall sections. The only thing you haven't done is detailed it. So, and that's still considered schematic. So with that wide range, like basically what you're seeing here, like is an LAUSD schematic set. And then all the detailing just gets really crazy. But minus the dimensions and stuff. But what I want you guys to have is an understanding of how to manage multiple views in a drawing set. So we've, of the same thing actually. So we've got our colored schematic floor plans, which you see here. Okay, and then we have technical drawings that we want to create. So what I'm going to ask you to do is create 2 new floor plans. Okay, so this is a refresher for you on how to create multiple floor plans of the same type. But what you see here is a level 1 floor plan that I created. Just for the sake of argument, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to have you create 2 new floor plans that are going to go on 2 new sheets. And then I want you to create 2 new floor plans that are for working. Okay, and we're going to manage this in a certain way. So let's go to View, Plan Views, and we're going to go to Floor Plan. Now, notice they don't show up. Remember from back when, a couple weeks ago, when we did this before, you have to uncheck Do Not Duplicate Existing Views. That way you can create a new level 1 floor plan. So I'll hit OK. And then I'll just do that again for until I create 2 level 1s and 2 level 2s. There we go. Now, I've got 2 level 1s, 2 level 2s. I'm going to operate over here. I'm going to ignore the ones that are on my actual page, and I'm just going to operate in the project browser. In the project browser, I want to create 2 that are going to go on the page, and then 2 that are going to just stay as my working floor plans, meaning I can go into them and change view settings and just kind of mess around, do whatever I need to do, but anything that is on the sheet will stay on the sheet. Okay, that's a very important distinction. Just rename them. Actually, I'm going to borrow my naming convention. So these, we just called them first floor plan. So there's a difference here. I want you to have your schematic floor plans say first floor schematic. Say schematic first floor plan, sorry. And then the other ones are just going to be floor plans. So you have to change these first. I'll rename this to schematic first floor plan. And this one is going to be schematic second floor plan. Then we're going to have a view that's called first floor plan. And don't rename the corresponding views. And this one is second floor plan. Now, a little bit of this is kind of like a standard process sort of thing. When you guys get into offices, they're going to operate differently, right? Some offices prefer to just work on the sheets. Some offices will use like all the reference planes that I mentioned are like the bane of my BIM existence. Can't stand it. Please don't use reference planes all over the place. They are not construction lines. So anyway, rant aside, one of the things I do like and I do encourage is to use working views. So a working view here, let's take a look at this. I'm going to call this, oh, whoops, not duplicate, my bad. I'll delete this, rename this. I'm going to call this one, and I'm going to keep it lowercase. Okay, so I'm going to call this working with a dash first floor plan. Now, why did I do that? I did that because here on the left-hand side under Project Browser, I put all of my view titles or view names in capital letters when I know they're going to go on a sheet. Okay, and I put all the ones in lowercase letters if I want to retain them for use for some kind of like, you know, file management, admin stuff. If I have like an area plan, but I don't need to, you know, use it for anything. I just need it for like background stuff that's not on a sheet. I keep it lowercase. So anyway, the working first floor plan functions a little differently than, say, the actual first floor plan, like you see here. Let me kind of put them side by side. Okay, so the actual first floor plan is going to be where I do stuff like adding tags, for instance. So I can let's do some quick tagging. Let's see. I'm going to do a tag all by category. Not that. Tag all. Let's add some door tags. Let's add some room tags. You're going to have dimensions. Okay, you're probably going to have some interior dimensions. And I'm just doing this all kind of sloppy right now, but I want to point out just real quick that these things get really busy. Okay, so if you're looking at a plan like this, right, it starts to get pretty busy very fast. So when I do something like trying to reconfigure the interior environment into a new space, so let's jump back into the file. Let's say I'm trying to chop up the library and the family room into something new, right? This exists on the sheet. So I am kind of studying this over here in my working floor plan. Let me create a new line real fast. No, I don't want to do that. I'll just work with green lines. These are green, right? No. Which one are my green lines? Yeah, there we go, lines. All right, so another thing I do, and this is more of a personal thing, some offices I've seen have done it, but like anytime I'm doing something that is purely like a design thing, doesn't belong in the drawings, I usually do it in red. So that way I know if it somehow winds up on my sheet, I delete it. So this kind of functions the same way, right? It's a green line, it doesn't belong. So if I'm doing exercises like this, I can start to actually draw it out where I'm starting to look at, oh, you know, let's create another closet. Let's have our kitchen wall create another closet that aligns with that. I'm going to do an AL there, put it in there. I really want to kind of increase the depth of this wall a little bit, and yeah, that's fine there. And you know what, I really do need, you know what, this actually is going to become a really absurdly large bathroom, and this is going to become a really tiny something else. Okay, so that's really important, is that when you're looking at stuff like this, or if you're trying to carry some alignments across a building, your construction lines, right? Because if you're used to working in like AutoCAD or doing some kind of hand drawing, construction lines, projection lines, things that you're doing that don't belong in the drawings should go into something like a working plan. Okay, so that's what this is for. This is where you get messy. This is where you're going to do stuff like intricate dimensioning that nobody really cares about in the actual drawings. Well, this probably would be there, but you know, you can do some weird stuff. You can dimension from like this wall to your casework to understand clearances, that kind of stuff. Like this stuff isn't really going to be on your drawings, or if it, you know, you just get messy with it. That's your playground to just make sure things are working. Okay, so then that doesn't change anything here. So if for some reason I need to change, let's say I have a dimension line in my actual drawings, right? So these are my actual drawings. Let's make that an even 10 feet. Whoa, I made a duplicate. Okay, so that's 7 feet. All right, so we've got a dimension here that measures where that goes, and that comes from this grid line, something like that. There. Okay, so that's my actual drawing, right? Those are my interior dimensions. That's how I want it to be. But I want to make this design change. I could just go right over into my working view, and I can say I want to make sure that this to the back side of my wall is exactly 3 feet. So I change my dimension line there, and I can, well, actually, it's kind of already a dimension there. Well, no, yeah, because I want it to be from this side. But you can just realign it there, and then it changes it in the drawings, and your dimensions are all kind of updated and accurate. There might be some things that break. It might get a little messy, like because that moved, maybe now I need to move my room tag or something like that. But the idea is that you're not putting all of your extra administrative crap on the sheet. End rant. So anyway, that's all I wanted to point out with the working views. But what I want you guys to actually do is to create new sheets to house the technical drawings, and then on your schematic floor plans, the schematic floor plans really don't need dimensions. They definitely don't need sections. So now that you, and I'm kind of, guys, I'm getting a little bit more efficient now with you, not kind of walking through every step of the way, because now you've seen view templates. I'd like you to spend time working on a view template for these. So schematic floor plans, right? You have an architectural plan where you're going to, actually, you know what, leave it on, sorry, leave it on none, okay? And no, we're gonna, you can't create a brand new one, that's weird. So let's create schematic floor plan, and then just modify the view template so that it shows up with just what you see here. So make sure that your color scheme is showing, and that's going to be kind of down here under color scheme. You're going to want to set that to our schema 1. Is that what we set it to? No. We had it on rooms, department. There we go. You're going to make sure that you turn off, you're going to turn off certain annotative categories, like dimensions. And so you kind of scroll down, and you can turn dimensions off. You probably want to leave your text on. And then you can also turn off, let's see, sections are annotative too. So if you go down here to sections, you can turn those off. You don't need elevations on the schematic plan, not this one anyway, so you can scroll up and turn off elevations and hit OK. Okay. So what you should really wind up with, oh, sorry, grids. That's right, I wanted to turn off grids too. Grids are non-essential in a schematic floor plan. Well, in this kind of schematic floor plan, because it's more of like a presentation floor plan. There. So your schematic floor plans should look like this, and your technical floor plans should look a little closer to this. Okay. I want to see just the essentials that we've actually developed so far. So when you're trying to emulate what you see in this plan right here, I don't need to see any keynotes. I don't need to see door tags at this stage. Okay. I don't need to see these little symbols, that kind of stuff. And I don't need to see the CAD background for the site. We're going to take care of that after we get through our midterm schematic set. What other questions do you have? Okay, great.